Hello students, now we shall move to stanza 12 of Elegy written in a country churchyard. In this video, we would try to understand and explain the three stanzas of this poem 12 to 14. We have seen how the poet is expressing his feelings, his emotions, for the poor farmers, for the poor people of the hamlet who have been buried in the churchyard, where the poet is meditating and reflecting all these things. He is sympathizing these poor people, and he also scolds the rich people and the ambitious people or heraldry people not to mock at these poor farmers if they could not become famous, if they could not have the monuments upon their tombs, and if they were not popular in their life, and if they could not develop their potentials, and if they could not educated and remain illiterate. Now the poet is reflecting what kind of these persons were when they were alive, but now they are lying in the graves. So he says, perhaps in this neglected spot is laid some heart once pregnant with celestial fire, hands that the road of empire might have swayed, or wake to ecstasy the living lyre. Beautiful lines. So the poet says, perhaps in this neglected spot means here the grave in which that farmer or the poor villager is lying, is laid permanently. So he says that perhaps in this grave where the man or the farmer or the person who has been laid here or buried here, he might have some heart once pregnant. He might have the person whose heart was pregnant with celestial fire, whose heart was full of, pregnant means here filled with or full of, with celestial fire. Celestial fire means here the heavenly fire, the heavenly zeal, heavenly knowledge. That is the heart which was full of the fire, celestial fire. That is the heart which was full for passions to do something. So there might be a person lying in this grave who had been a man of highly courage and full of the passions in his heart. So here we have the metaphor, and metaphor is that is of the uh, heart with celestial fire, etc. These are the metaphor for passion. Maybe, he says, maybe in the churchyard there lies a person in the next two lines. Maybe there a person who might have hands that the road of empire might have swayed. So a person might have been there lying in this grave whose hands could have ruled an empire, could have governed an empire, and whose hands could have played, whose hands could have ruled that state. That is, he might have been the ruler. So we don't know. So his hands would have been like that. Then the poet says that there might be someone in this grave whose hands could have played the lyre, that is the musical lyre, which would have created the beautiful music, song, rhythm, lyric, or wake to ecstasy the living lyre. That is, he would have play. He would have played that living lyre with such an ecstasy, with such an such we can say such in a what we say in such a great um, is great speed, we can say, or in such a way that could have wake to the ecstasy, to the pleasure, heartly pleasure, heavenly pleasure. So a kind of old school harp so well that the lyre would have become conscious. Okay, so here in this stanza the poet had described about the person who are lying in the graves, might have been the ruler, might have been the people who had the passions, celestial passions, and they might have been such who could have played very well the lyre and could have composed the beautiful music. Now come to the next stanza. But knowledge to their eyes her ample page, rich with the spoils of time, did never unroll. Chill penury repressed their noble reach, and froze the genial current of the soul. But knowledge, here knowledge has been personified again. Capital letter, and this has been personified. So, just like a man, person. So poet says, but knowledge to their eyes, there means the poor farmers who have been buried there. So, but the knowledge to their eyes, her ample page, knowledge, her ample page, knowledge might have not opened her ample pages to their eyes. That is, these poor farmers might not have been knowledgeable, or the knowledge may not have been accessible to these men, or that they were not knowledgeable, they did not have that much knowledge, they were not educated. Rich with the spoils of time, did never unroll. So it never unrolled. Knowledge never unrolled to their eyes. They couldn't read, they couldn't get knowledge. During that spoil of the time. So during the span of time, the book of the knowledge became the fatter, became the bigger and bigger. But these people could not get that. These people were out of knowledge. So there is the problem of the structure here. So this sentence should be read in this way: knowledge never did unroll her ample page. That is knowledge which is rich. The pages are rich with the spoil of time to their eyes. And the pages are rich with the spoil of time means that the knowledge is a big collection of pages, and as time goes on, so those pages get filled with the more and more information during the time. But this knowledge did not come to the eyes of these poor farmers. That is, this knowledge never rolled before these poor guys, poor farmers. So These poor guys who are lying in the graveyard, they never had access to all the knowledge. And then history had to offer. Those pages were never unrolled to their eyes. So the history offered them the knowledge, but the pages of the knowledge never opened before their eyes. That is, they couldn't read that. They couldn't get those all information which were added from time to time in the book of the knowledge. So here the knowledge has been personified as a human being, as a person. So the knowledge did not appear before their eyes. I think it's clear. Then, last two lines. Chill pen. Why knowledge didn't come to them? Chill penury repressed their noble rage. Chill penury. Here, chill penury. Penury again is personified, and penury means poverty, and chill means extreme poverty. They were very poorer. That repressed their noble rage. Their noble rage means their noble anger. So the poverty held back the noble parts of their characters, that is, their passion and even their angers. So it was the penury, it was the chill penury or the poverty which was the obstacle in their development. It was the penury that repressed and froze the dead people's potential. They couldn't come out, they couldn't develop their potential, their abilities, their capacities, because they couldn't get the opportunities, as well as they were also poor. So the poverty became the hindrance, obstacle, which prevent all of them to become knowledgeable, to become educated, to become great men, and to become to develop their passions, their rage, their characters. So their talent was hidden, could not come out because of the chill penury and lack of opportunities. Okay, now come to the next stanza, number 14. So far our this lecture is concerned. Let's see what he says. Full many a gem of purest ray serene, the dark unfathomed caves of ocean bear. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen, and waste its sweetness on the desert air. See, full many a gem of purest ray serene. Gem of purest means pure gem. Ray serene, which has the rays serene, very we can say shining. The dark unfathomed caves, that is the which cannot be measured, unmeasurable dark caves of the ocean, of the sea, bears so many pure gems in it. Again, there is metaphor. Full many. So it's just an 18th century phrase. It means lots of. So lots of beautiful, pure gems are hidden, are born away in the dark caves, dark, unfathomed, unmeasurable caves under the ocean. So only the excellent divers can can get those pure gems out of the ocean, because these pure gems and beautiful gems are always in the deep and in the dark, unmeasurable bottom of the sea. So, here poet says that these poor guys were also like the pure gems and were hidden in that dark, unfathomed ocean, that is the village where they were confined, where they were enclosed their lives. They never come out of that. So, in these graves, there might have been those people or person who could be the pure gem of the dark ocean. Then, full many a flower is born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness on the desert air. Full many a flower means lots of flowers is born, come into, blush unseen, blushing, blooming. Unseen means not seen by any human being. So there is full lots of flowers come into blushing bloom or blush or bloom, but never seen by any person. Where? In the desert area. In the desert area. In the desert. So, in the desert, lots of flowers blush, bloom, but nobody goes there to see them. Nobody goes there to appreciate them. Therefore, these flowers waste their fragrance, their sweetness, their goodness in the desert air, in the desert area. So it means that no one goes to the desert in order to appreciate the flowers, beautiful flowers. So they also bloom there, but they are not seen by anyone. So they waste their fragrance without seen by anyone, without used by anyone. So nobody knows that the beautiful flowers bloomed in the desert. In the same way, these poor farmers were the beautiful flowers blooming in a dark, in a unknown area or unknown village where nobody went there to appreciate their potential, their talents, and their sweet scent. This is what he wants to say. So this stanza is in fact about unsung heroes, like the guys who buried in the churchyard without monuments, without trophies, and they all were the gems and flowers, and the flowers and gems have been used as metaphors for the people who do awesome stuff that doesn't get recognized. So these people were like those flowers and those gems, but they could not be recognized. They couldn't get the recognition, and this recognition was not there because of the penury, because of the lack of the opportunities. This is what I mean the poet wants to say in these lines. Full many a flower is born to blush and sing. So in desert, the flowers bloom, but nobody goes there to appreciate them, to see them. In this way, they waste their fragrance in the desert air. So this is how the poet is expressing his feelings, his emotions about these poor guys, poor farmers who have been buried in the churchyard. The poet is extremely showing the sympathy for these poor guys. So for now, thank you very much, dear students. We will meet with another strangers in next time. Till then, bye bye.